If you struggle to become a flawless, fluent English speaker, here's great news. I'm going to show you 5 proven ways to easily improve your English fluency in the fastest way possible. Please watch and listen with an open mind. I'm going to be telling you some things that you may not want to hear. I'll be sharing the latest advice that actually works. Be sure to use all 5 steps if you want to get the best results. My name is Herbert Lee. I've been a Toastmaster for over 40 years, a presentation coach for 35, and an English teacher for well over 20. I accidentally became an English teacher when I had to substitute for another teacher. I used methods to improve learners' fluency. Those students wanted more courses, and I developed more courses with these new techniques. The classes I taught were always oversubscribed because they produced such great results. Today, I'm going to share my 5 steps to English fluency based on the same techniques I taught in those classes. Be sure to use all 5 steps to get the best result. Today, I'm going to talk about how to become fluent in English, but I'm not going to focus on boring grammar rules or long lists of vocabulary words. Instead, I'll show you how to use English in real life. Before we start, let's talk about the 2 ways you learn English. First, there's English as a subject. This is how we often learn in school. It's all about tests and rules. The worst thing about learning English as a subject is we think there's only one correct answer, only one way to answer a question, and we hate being wrong. Putting that mindset of right and wrong is the most harmful thing we get from classroom learning of English. But we also have English as a communicative language, and this is how we actually use English every day. It's about talking with friends and having effective conversations, having fun with English. In real-world English, there are no correct answers. If someone asks you for your opinion, is there a correct answer? No, it's your opinion. As long as you can clearly express your idea, that's great. So in this video, I'll focus on the second way, English as a communicative language. I'll show you 5 easy steps to help you speak English fluently. These steps will help you use English in real-world situations, not just give correct answers like you do in the classroom. Are you ready to improve your English fluency? Let's get started. Step number 1, practice active listening. This is the step that most learners skip, and that is a big mistake. It's one step that can give you the biggest improvement in the shortest time. The first step to speaking English fluently is to practice active listening. Active listening means really paying attention when someone speaks. It's not just about hearing the words, but trying to understand the meaning. So here are some ways to practice active listening. Watch English movies, TV shows, and YouTube videos. Start with subtitles in your own language. Then, gradually switch to using English subtitles. And when your listening gets much better, or you can read much faster, finally you can watch without the subtitles. You definitely need to do this at some point, because you can't say to people who you're actually talking to, hey, excuse me, can you turn on the subtitles? They can't turn on the subtitles. When you're speaking with someone, there is no subtitles. So at some point, you have to get rid of the subtitles and really listen. Another thing you can do is listen to English music. Find songs that you like and try to understand the words and meaning of the song. You can even sing along. Listen to English podcasts. Now, there are many podcasts for English learners, but don't just restrict yourself to English learning podcasts. There are many, many different topics available in podcasts. Watch my video on how to pick the perfect podcast. Then you will know the perfect podcast to listen to. And you can listen to podcasts that work for you. Also, I have podcasts on this channel called 5-Minute English Vocabulary, but they're not suitable for everyone. Watch that Pick the Perfect Podcast video to find the best podcast for you. Watch YouTube videos in English. Now, you can find videos about any topic you like, but try to find a variety of YouTube videos, not just videos about learning. That way you will actually have things to talk about instead of just English learning. When you listen, don't focus on the words. Pay attention to how people speak. Notice their tone of voice and the way they stress certain words. That's how you learn your native language, by copying and listening and watching. Try to understand the feelings behind the words. Here's a fun activity. While watching a TV show, try to guess what a character will say next. This helps you understand the flow of conversations. Remember, active listening is not just about understanding words. It's about understanding the whole message. The more you practice active listening, the better you'll be at understanding English speakers. I'm thinking to create a 3-part series on active listening, but it's a lot of work, so I don't want to spend a lot of time if no one's going to watch. They will be about 20 minutes each, and there will be 3 episodes. So, if you're interested and will actually watch the series when it comes out, leave a comment below. Active listening, please. Step number 2, get out there and speak. Now that you've been listening actively, it's time to start speaking. Many people are afraid to speak English because they think they'll make a mistake. But here's the truth. You need to speak up if you want to really learn to be fluent. And here are some ways to practice speaking. Find a language exchange partner. This is someone who wants to learn English as well, so you can help each other learn. There are many websites and apps where you can find language partners. Please remember, you are language exchange partners. This is not a chance for you to go blah, 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 and talk and not listen. You're having a conversation. This means taking turns, listening and speaking. This is what an exchange is. It's not a contest to see who can speak the longest. Also, try to find a partner at the same level or slightly above to get the best results. Join English conversation groups. Many cities have groups where people meet to practice English. If there's no group in your area, you can join online groups. Use English with friends who are also learning English. You can practice together and help each other. And remember, practice listening and speaking. Hey, here's a good one. Talk to yourself in English. Yes, it might sound silly, but it works. Describe what you're doing as you do it. So, for example, I'm making a sandwich. I'm putting cheese on the bread. Learn to order food in English at restaurants. Start with simple orders and work your way up to more complex ones. Remember, the goal is to communicate, not to be perfect. Don't worry too much about grammar. Focus on getting your message across. Step number 3, get used to some pressure. Speaking a new language can be stressful, but you can learn to handle this pressure. The more you practice in stressful situations, the easier it becomes. Here are some ways to practice under pressure. Set a timer when you speak. Give yourself 1 minute to talk about a topic. This helps you to think and speak more quickly. Try tongue twisters. These are phrases that are hard to say quickly. They help you practice pronunciation under pressure. Play speaking games with some of your English-speaking friends. For example, try to keep a conversation going for as long as possible without using certain common words like good, fine. Practice public speaking. Start by speaking in front of a mirror. Then try speaking in front of friends or in a small group. Record yourself speaking and then listen to it. This can be uncomfortable at first, but it really helps you improve. Remember, feeling nervous is normal. Even native speakers are nervous sometimes. The key is to keep practicing. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll feel. Step number 4. Mistakes is how you learn. Many people are afraid of making mistakes when speaking English. Here's a secret. Mistakes are good. They help you learn and improve. Here's how to use mistakes to your advantage. When you make a mistake, try to correct yourself. This helps you remember the right way to say things. Ask native speakers who you're speaking to or teachers to correct you. And listen to the correction. This is where a lot of people fail. They hear something and they don't want to hear it. They say, oh, it's criticism. And they don't learn. Take criticism, take comments from other people and improve. And don't be shy about asking for help. Keep a mistake journal. Have a little notebook where you write down the mistakes you make and the correct way to say things. And once in a while, review this journal regularly. You'll notice that many of these mistakes have gotten corrected because you are aware of them. And then you can cross it off your journal. You don't make that mistake anymore. Here's a really good one. Learn from other people's mistakes. When you hear someone else make a mistake, think about how you would say it correctly. Remember, every mistake is a chance to learn something new. Even native English speakers make mistakes. So while I'm on the subject of making mistakes, do you know what the 5 biggest mistakes in learning English conversation are? Get a copy of my free report, The 5 Biggest Mistakes in English Conversation. Okay, now let's finish off with step number 5. Learn language in chunks. The last step is learning language in chunks. Chunks are groups of words that often go together. Learning chunks helps you speak more naturally and fluently. Look at my episodes on chunks and chunking. Here are some ways to learn English chunks. Learn phrases, not just words. Instead of the word rain, you learn the phrase, it's raining cats and dogs. Notice common word pairs. Again, this comes from active listening. For example, you'll hear things like fast food, heavy traffic, and make a decision. So you put this in your memory, into your vocabulary bank, your chunk bank, and you can use them later. It's important to learn idioms, but not that important. These are phrases that mean something different from their literal meaning. For example, you probably know it's a piece of cake means something is easy. Pay attention to how native speakers start and end conversations with idioms. Learning idioms means listening even more, so you will know how to actually use them in a conversation. Many learners try to learn idioms and practice using them quickly. But using idioms is not the same as using a new word that you just learned. Idioms must be used only at the appropriate time and place. If you stick an idiom in the wrong time or place, no one will understand you, and you will definitely not sound fluent. Learn common greetings and goodbyes. Use language learning apps that focus on phrases and sentences, not just individual words. Learning chunks helps you speak more like a native. It also helps you understand native speakers better, and you can put sentences together more quickly when you use chunks. So, there you have it. 5 steps to English fluency. Let's quickly review them, shall we? Practice active listening. Go out there and start speaking. Get used to pressure. Mistakes is how you learn. Learn language in chunks. Remember, learning English is not just about studying grammar and vocabulary. It's about using the language to communicate. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you use English, the better you'll get. Learning a language takes time, so be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. And most importantly, have fun. When you enjoy learning, you learn much faster. I hope these tips help you on your English learning journey. Keep practicing, and soon you will be speaking English fluently. Be sure to practice using all 5 steps to get the best results possible. Before I end, I'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite ways to practice English? Share your tips in the comments below. It's Herbert Lee, waiting to hear about your progress on your English speaking journey.